I want to thank you all for being here, and we'll take some questions. Yeah, please.
During the pandemic, the QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much, which I appreciate. But I don't know much about the movement. I have heard that it is gaining in popularity, and from what I've heard, these are people that when they watch the streets of Portland, when they watch what happened in New York City in just the last 6 or 7 months, but this was starting even 4 years ago when I came here, almost 4 years, can you believe it? These are people that don't like seeing what's going on in places like Portland and places like Chicago and New York and other cities and states. And I've heard these are people that love our country and they just don't like seeing it. So I don't know really anything about it other than they do supposedly like me, and they also would like to see problems in these areas, like especially the areas that we're talking about, go away, because there's no reason the Democrats can't run a city. And if they can't, we will send in all of the federal, whether it's troops or law enforcement, whatever they'd like, we'll send them in, we'll straighten out their problem in 24 hours or less, okay?
Well, just real quick, at the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind? Or
well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there, and we are actually. We're saving the world from a radical left philosophy that will destroy this country, and when this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow. The rest of the world would follow. That's the importance of this country. And when you look at some of the things that these people are saying with defund the police and no borders, open borders, everybody just pour right into our country, no testing, no nothing. You know, you talk about testing, no testing. Mexico, as you know, has a very high rate of infection. The wall is now going to be next week 300 miles long. Our numbers are extraordinary on the border. Had that, and this is through luck, perhaps, more than talent, although the talent is getting it built when one party refuses to allow it. You don't hear talk about the wall anymore. But I will say this, we need strength in our country, not weakness.
Can I follow up with a question that I asked the president last week, but he didn't answer? I asked him about QAnon, so I wanted to know, have you ever heard the president talk about QAnon, and what does he think of the conspiracy theory?
No, I've never heard of that. There's a lot of media focus on that, but certainly never heard of that from the president.
It's bad. I mean, this is such just a bizarre and ludicrous on its face conspiracy theory. It's dangerous.
Why the president falls so often for dark conspiracy theories?
President Trump now says he's glad to have support from voters who support those ideas.
Honestly, screw everything. Like, honestly, this is,
I'm starting to notice it on a personal level where people I know, actual people, these aren't like made up trolls on the internet. You know, these aren't bots on Twitter. These are living, breathing humans in my own life who are using QAnon posts on social media as evidence of whatever ridiculous argument they believe. Like, that's what they're citing. They're citing whatever it is that a QAnon conspiracy theorist posted on Facebook or Instagram as evidence to bolster whatever ridiculous, crazy point they're trying to make.
QAnon pushes the insidious lies that Satan-worshiping politicians and A-list celebrities are engaging in child sex abuse and cannibalism. That JFK Jr. faked his own death and is about to reemerge and publicly support President Trump. And that the so-called deep state created the coronavirus and is spreading it over 5G cellular networks. It's interesting. I mean, it's pretty obvious that the president didn't want to say anything about it because he likes the support of these people.
The one thing they can't prepare for is that the president himself might fall victim to those conspiracy theories, those lies, and that misinformation.
Some believers may soon be serving in Congress, and President Trump had nothing but praise yesterday for people who adhere to these disturbing claims.
I mean, there isn't anything worse you can say about your political competitors than that they are satanic sex traffickers who molest and eat children.